Hello officers, welcome to the 17th episode of Environment series by Prerana for UPSC Prelims 2026. ఇవాళ మనం డిస్కస్ చేయబోయే టాపిక్ is stingless bees. రీసెంట్ గా మనకి న్యూస్ లో stingless bees is in use for the Peruvian country giving legal rights to these bees. సో మనకి ఫస్ట్ మనకి లీగల్ రైట్స్ టు బీస్ ఏ కంట్రీ అయినా ఇచ్చింది, దాని ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఏంటి, ఎలాంటి రైట్స్ ని రికగ్నైజ్ చేస్తుంది, ఇవన్నీ తెలుసుకునే ముందు అసలు బీస్ ఎందుకు ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఇకోసిస్టమ్ కి అది తెలుసుకుందాం. సో ఫర్ ఎవ్రీ ఇకోసిస్టమ్ వీ నీడ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ the growth of an ecosystem thrives on the primary production. ఇది మనము రామ్సార్ సైట్స్ లో కూడా చూసాం. ప్రైమరీ ప్రొడక్షన్ అంటే ప్రైమరీ ప్రొడ్యూసర్స్ ప్లాంట్స్ అనేవి ఎందుకు ఇంపార్టెంట్, దాని త్రూ ఎట్లా ఎకోసిస్టమ్ గ్రో అవుతుంది అని చెప్పి. సో మనకి ప్లాంట్స్ ఫస్ట్ సర్వైవ్ అవ్వాలి అంటే, ప్లాంట్స్ యొక్క పాపులేషన్ పెరగాలి అంటే, దానికి దేర్ ఇస్ వన్ procedure called as reproduction, and the sexual reproduction in plants happens through flowers that are present. So akkada manaki aa pollen anedi it has to be transferred from one flower to other flower or from the male reproductive part to the female reproductive part. So idantha evaru chestaru? Pollinators will do it. Now who are the pollinators? According to the reports of the United Nations, 90% of the wild species, plant species yokka pollination anta kuda it is done by bees, butterflies and insects, and predominantly it is done by bees. Ante only ivi matramena pollinators ante even birds, animals, human beings are also pollinators, but 90% mostly is done by the bees. So that is why the bees are more important for ecosystem. So plants యొక్క పాపులేషన్ పెరిగితేనే ఆ ఫుడ్ చైన్ అనేది కంటిన్యూ అవుతుంది, అక్కడ ఎనర్జీ ఫ్లో అండ్ న్యూట్రియంట్ సైక్లింగ్ అనేది జరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది. అండ్ మనకి యాజ్ ఇన్ పాపులేషన్ పెరుగుతూ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఫుడ్ ఇన్సెక్యూరిటీ కూడా మనకి చాలా ఎక్కువ అవుతుంది. అంటే మన పాపులేషన్ పెరుగుతుంది, దానికి సరిపడా ఫుడ్ మనం గ్రో చేయలేకపోతున్నాం ఫర్ వేరియస్ రీజన్స్. అందుకని చెప్పి ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఆ ప్లాంట్ పాపులేషన్ పెరగాలి అంటే కూడా ఈ పాలినేటర్స్ ని మనం కన్సర్వ్ చేయాలి. అయితే ఇప్పుడు ఈ బీస్ లో కూడా మనకి డిఫరెంట్ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ బీస్ ఉన్నాయి. మీరు యూపీఎస్సీ క్వశ్చన్స్ కూడా చూస్తే యూ హ్యావ్ లాట్స్ ఆఫ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ బీయింగ్ పోస్డ్ ఆన్ బీస్, ఇన్సెక్ట్స్, బటర్ఫ్లైస్ సిన్స్ ద లాస్ట్ 5 years. This is because there is a huge conservation efforts are being put by all the countries, European Union కానివ్వండి, యునైటెడ్ నేషన్స్ కానీ, to protect these pollinators. అయితే మనకి ఇప్పుడు ఈ లీగల్ రైట్స్ ఇచ్చిన ఈ పర్టికులర్ బీస్ ఆర్ నాట్ హనీ బీస్, దే ఆర్ stingless bees. Now what are these stingless bees? These stingless bees are nothing but they produce high value honey with a distinct flavor that is there when compared to that is produced by honeybees, and can increase the yield as well as quality of the crops. సో ఇవి ఎక్కడైతే మనం అగ్రికల్చరల్ ఫీల్డ్స్ లో ఒకవేళ మీరు స్టింగ్లెస్ బీస్ ని గ్రో చేస్తే, you can see that there is an increase in the yield as well as in the quality of the crops that are being produced in that particular area. So it appears like the normal honeybees, but they belong to this family of carpenter bees and bumblebees, and you can see that they're incapable of stinging, and that is why they're called as stingless bees. Aithe din common generic term is stingless bees, but the scientific name is Astroplebia, Melipona and Tetragonula. వీటి ఈ genre కి జీనస్ కి సంబంధించిన బీస్ ఆర్ stingless bees. అయితే ఇవి స్టింగ్లెస్ అయినప్పటికీ then how do they bite their attackers? They do it using mandibles. They do not have sting. Yes, so this is the part of the the stingless bee that is used to bite the attackers, and you cannot feel the pain. That is the sting. And then let us also understand where are these honeybees distributed around the globe. Now if you see, it is distributed in various parts of America, South America specifically, Central American region, and in South African region, in India, Southeast Asian region, and parts of Australia. So that is how it is globally distributed. And in India specific ga chuste ఏ states లో ఎక్కువ you will find them in northeastern states, eastern parts, and as well as southern Indian states you will find most of this, mostly speaking in the moist, ever deciduous, and tropical evergreen type of areas. So if you see the latitudinal range also, it is the same. Yes. Now in the northeast, these bees are reared traditionally in homestead apiaries. So their northeast low honeybee keeping is also very common, that is observed. Now, how do these bees communicate? This is one of the questions that is asked by the UPSC previously. We will also know that in the same video. So they communicate using various communicating orders, one of which is waggle dance, which was asked in the question paper. But there are some other communication systems also, that also we will learn. The first one we'll see is the waggle dance. This, in waggle dance, you can see that the honeybee makes a 8 kind of figure. This is done when the honeybee wants to show the direction which is relative to the sun and the duration, intensity of where is the food. So if it finds oka bee elli oka food source find cheste adi vere I repeat, ఒక బీ వెళ్ళి ఒక ఫుడ్ సోర్స్ ని ఫైండ్ చేస్తే అది వేరే హనీ బీస్ కి అక్కడ ఫుడ్ ఉంది అని ఎలా కమ్యూనికేట్ చేస్తుంది, దట్ ఈస్ కమ్యూనికేటెడ్ త్రూ దిస్ పర్టిక్యులర్ waggle dance. So it makes an angle with the sun and it forms this 8 shaped communication system. సన్ కి రిలేటివ్ గా ఈ డైరెక్షన్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. సో దిస్ ఇస్ హౌ ఇట్ విల్ షో వేర్ ఇస్ ద ఫుడ్ టు ద అదర్ హనీబీస్. Then there is something called as round dance. When does a honeybee do this round dance? Is when it is used for food sources closer than about 50 meters, indicating proximity without precise direction. ఇది ఏ డైరెక్షన్ లో ఫుడ్ ఉంది అనడానికి 8 షేప్ లో వెళ్తుంది, దట్ ఈస్ waggle dance. కానీ ఎప్పుడైతే ఆ ఫుడ్ మనకి దగ్గరలో ఉంది, ఇక్కడే ఉంది, ప్రాక్సిమిటీలో ఆఫ్ 50 meters డిస్టెన్స్ లో ఉంది అని చెప్పడానికి ఇట్ విల్ డూ ద రౌండ్ డాన్స్. అండ్ ఇట్ ఆల్సో యూజెస్ వైబ్రేషన్స్ in the comb or the hive is the place where the honeybees stay, and there it creates vibrations to alert other bees to food, or if there is any threat that is there for the honeybees also, they use the communication of vibrations. Then touch, they touch with their antenna to exchange scents and gather information from other bees. This scent is also known as pheromones. So the pheromone kind of communication or the touch kind of communication is the same, where they exchange the scents and gather information from the other bees during dances and hive activities. So these are different types of communications that can be found in bees. Now let's understand what are the benefits of these bees. Now these stingless bees can be used for pollination without fear of being stung. And then they are known for their popular medicinal honey and pollinational potential. So manaki indaka cheppinattu, they help in pollination. Pollination చాలా fast గా అవుతుంది కాబట్టి మన crop yield అనేది పెరుగుతుంది. Apart from that, you can farmers can also have a alternative source of income, that is the honey that is produced by these bees, and this also has medicinal properties. Now this paves the way for the formulation of crop pollination calendars to benefit all the stakeholders that are there. We know for the crop, diversity is also important for the soil health, and hence you can see that UNCCD, the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, they are also helping, or they are also putting a lot of effort in conserving the pollinators for the same reason. Now, tropical Meliponiculture bees produce stingless honey stingless bees honey, and the studies have shown that it has properties including antibacterial, bacteriostatic, anti-inflammatory, neurotherapeutic, and neuroprotective features. So these are various benefits that are seen from the stingless bee. Now, what are the significance of it? As I told you, food security. The increase in the yield of the crops will help us give distributive food to the growing population. So that is what we mean by food security. Then they act as indicator species. Ante ecosystem lo if there is any problem, like if for example there is increase in the use of pesticides, you will see that these bees will start, the population of them will decline. Yes, so they help in understanding the health of the ecosystem that is there. Any species that indicate the health of an ecosystem are called as indicator species. Now they help in ecological stability. They provide food, they help in the plant production, and we know herbivores dependent or dependent on the plants for their food consumption. Yes, so the whole food chain depends upon the pollination that happens on the plant, and hence it maintains the ecological stability, and it adds economic value by providing honey to the farmers. Yes, so this is how the significance of bees can be studied. Now we will see what are the threats and what are the impacts that are there on honeybees because of our usage of fertilizers and pesticides. So their population is declining mostly because of deforestation. That means మన వాటి హ్యాబిటాట్ లూజ్ అవుతున్నాయి. అది కాకుండా మన అగ్రికల్చరల్ ఫీల్డ్స్ లో కూడా ఫెర్టిలైజర్స్ అండ్ పెస్టిసైడ్స్ గ్రోత్ చాలా ఎక్కువ, అంటే యూసేజ్ చాలా ఎక్కువ అయిపోయింది. సో దానివల్ల పెస్టిసైడ్స్ అప్లై చేసినప్పుడు యూ కెన్ సీ దట్ దే రీచ్ ద honeybees through air, water, and through soil, and you can see that neonicotinoids can impact their reproductive success. So that means they will not be able to reproduce and the population of the honeybees will decline. Then we have pesticides that also alter their navigation pattern. So avi ఏ డైరెక్షన్ లో వెళ్తున్నాయని అవి తెలుసుకోలేవు. So they'll not be able to reach the hives or the home combs of their bees. Then the neurotoxic pesticides that also affect their cognitive abilities to understand in which direction they are moving. Pesticides, particularly insecticides, have been shown to have a broad range of lethal effects on these pollinators such as bees under controlled experimental conditions. And we can also see air pollutants also interact with the pheromones or the scent molecules that help in their communication. So these are the threats that are there to the bees as well as the impacts of various fertilizers and pesticides on these bees. Now what are the conservation methods? As we can see, the United Nations, under the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, we want to restore the ecosystems by 2030. Under this program, we are trying to conserve the pollinators as well, which includes the conservation of honeybees. That is one. Then apart from that, we have European Union, which also is conserving the biodiversity and the habitat for honeybees, for the pollinators. So these two are there. These are the major global conservation efforts. Apart from that, the recent one that we have discussed and ippudu news lo ni manam discuss chesedi is the Peru's biocultural heritage, the provincial municipality of Satipo. This is the place which adopted, the municipality of Satipo has adopted the declaration through a formal municipal ordinance. So they have passed a municipal ordinance which said a declaration of rights for native stingless bees. This document includes various rights to these pollinators. Now ఈ ordinance లో ఎలాంటి రైట్స్ ఉన్నాయో కూడా చూద్దాం. The right for them to exist and thrive, the right to maintain healthy populations, the right to healthy habitat free from pollution, the right to ecologically stable climatic conditions, the right to regenerate their natural cycles, the right to be legally represented in cases of threat of harm. So itla no ante for it insects ki apart from humans, insects ki legal rights ఇవ్వడం, this is the first time globally. ఇండియాలో అలాంటివి ఏమైనా జరిగాయి అంటే ఎస్, ఇండియా హ్యాస్ గివెన్ లివింగ్ స్టేటస్ టు రివర్స్. రివర్స్ కి సేమ్ మనము లీగల్ రైట్స్ ఇస్తాము. వి కన్సిడర్ దెమ్ యాజ్ లివింగ్ ఎంటిటీస్. లైక్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ హైకోర్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఉత్తరాఖండ్ has given living status to Ganga and Yamuna. And we have Punjab and Haryana also giving the same living status to a river. I repeat. And we have Punjab and Haryana also giving the living status to Sukna river. So this is quite common, and Peruvian Satipos municipality has given the legal rights to the honeybees. So this is all about the stingless bees that is in news that you have to know for the prelims UPSC. Now for more such interesting concepts to know in depth, you can follow our channel Prerana. Thank you.